Things come into being from the Tao or the Way and differentiate into various combinations of yin and yang. One manifestation of yin and yang is between reality and illusion. Light always produces shadow. Sound produces echo. We are always in a relationship between concrete reality and illusionary, mystical realm of shadows, echoes and dream. The sage explains, am I dreaming that I am a butterfly, flittering here, flittering there, or am I a butterfly dreaming I am a man? There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The way is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. The way is like an empty pitcher, poured from but never drained. Infinitely deep, it is the source of all things. It blunts the sharp, unties the knotted, shades the bright, unites with all dust. Dimly seen yet eternally present, I do not know who gave birth to it. It is older than any conception of God. When people see things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore the master acts without doing anything, and teaches without saying anything. Things arise, and he lets them come. Things disappear, and he lets them go. He has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When his work is done, he forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. Look, and it cannot be seen. Listen, and it cannot be heard. Reach, and it cannot be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Subtle beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your life, just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. The way is great, heaven is great, earth is great, humankind is also great. In the universe there are these four things which are great, and humankind is one of them. Humankind follows the earth follows heaven, heaven follows the way, and the Tao just acts like itself. Heaven and earth are impartial. They allow things to die. The sage is not sentimental. He knows that all things must pass away. The space between heaven and earth is like a bellows, empty yet inexhaustible. The more it is used, the more it produces. Trying to explain it will only exhaust you. It's better to hold on to the paradox. The sagely person is like water. Water benefits all things and does not compete with them. It gathers in unpopular places. In this it is like the way. In dwelling, live close to the earth. In thinking, be open to new ideas. In relationships, be kind. In speech, tell the truth and keep your word. In leading people, demonstrate integrity. In daily matters, be competent. In acting, consider the appropriate timing. If you do not try to prove yourself better than others, you will be beyond reproach. Look for, it cannot be seen. It is beyond sight. Listen for, and it cannot be heard. It is beyond hearing. Grasp it, and it cannot be caught. It is beyond substance. These three cannot be fully comprehended, yet they are fundamentally connected, and somehow they are one. In its highest, it isn't bright. At its lowest, it isn't dark. It is infinite, continually emerging, completely beyond description. It returns again and again to nothingness. If you cling to the way of ancient times, the present will be no problem. To know the ancient origins is to follow the Tao. If you can empty yourself of everything, you will have lasting peace. Things arise, but I contemplate their return. Things flourish and grow, and then return to their source. To return to the source is to know perfect peace. I call this a return to life. Knowing this constant, you can embrace all things. Embracing everything, you can treat them fairly. Treating them fairly, you are noble. Being noble, you are like the universe. If you are like the universe, you are like the way. If you are like the Tao, you will have eternal life, and you needn't be afraid of dying. Forget holiness, abandon intelligence, and people will be 100 times better off. Give up humanitarianism, put away righteousness, and people will rediscover brotherly love and kindness. Forget great art, throw away profit, and there will be no more thieves. These things are superficial and are simply not enough. People need something solid to hold on to, and there it is. Be real. Embrace simplicity, put others first, desire little. The only virtue worth having is that of following the way, and the only thing you can say about the way is that it is elusive and evasive. yet it can be observed. It is evasive and elusive, yet it does not manifest itself. It is dim and dark, yet its essence can be grasped. Its essence is tranquility. Its essence is completely genuine. You can put your faith in it. If you don't want to be broken, bend. If you want to be straight, allow some crookedness. If you want to be filled, become empty. If you want to be made new, let yourself be used. If you want to be rich, desire little. Wanting more and more is craziness. Therefore, the sage embraces oneness and becomes a model for the world. Not self-centered, he is enlightened. Not self-righteous, he is a shining example. Not self-glorifying, he accomplishes glorious things. Not boastful, he grows large inside. He alone does not compete, so the world can never overcome him. When the ancients said, if you don't want to be broken, bend, were they just uttering empty words? Bend sincerely, and wholeness and oneness will return to you. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the way, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the way, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. The sagely person is always there to help people, so that no one is forsaken. He is always there to see to things, so that nothing is lost. This is called being clothed in light. For what is a good person but a bad person's teacher? And what is a bad person but raw material for a good person? If you do not respect your teacher or love your raw material, you are greatly confused regardless of your intelligence. I call this an essential and yet a subtle mystery. He who is centered in the way can go where he wishes without danger. He perceives the universal harmony even amid great pain, because he has found peace in his heart. Music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. great way flows everywhere, to the left and to the right. All things rely on it for their life, and it does not refuse them. When its work is done, it does not demand recognition. It clothes and nourishes all things, and does not demand allegiance. Since it makes no demands for itself, it can seem to be of small regard. Yet as all things return to it of their own accord, without being commanded, it can truly be regarded great. It is only because it does not claim to be great that it is able to achieve such greatness. Do you want to own the world and improve it? I don't think you can. You see, the world is sacred. It can't be improved upon. If you try, you will ruin it. If you try to own it, you will lose it. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. You want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception, the way things are. The soft overcome the hard, the slow overcome the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery, just show people the results. The sage doesn't try to be powerful, thus he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power, thus he never has enough. The sage does nothing, yet he leaves nothing undone. The ordinary man is always doing something, yet many more are left to be done. The kind man does something, yet something remains undone. The just man does something, and leaves many things to be done. The moral man does something, and when no one responds, he rolls up his sleeves and uses force. When the way is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is morality. When morality is lost, there is ritual. Ritual is the husk of true faith, the beginning of chaos. Therefore the sage concerns himself with the depths and not the surface, with the fruit and not the flower. He has no will of his own, he dwells in reality and lets all illusions go. Returning is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. The softest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. That which is without substance can enter even where there is no space. Therefore I know the value of non-action, teaching without words and benefit without actions. There are few in the world who can grasp this. in harmony with the way. The sky is clear and spacious, the earth is solid and full, all creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. When man interferes with the way, the sky becomes filthy, the earth becomes depleted, the equilibrium crumbles, creatures become extinct. The master views the parts with compassion. Because he understands the whole, his constant practice in humility, he doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the way, as rugged and common as a stone. In pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the practice of the way, every day something is dropped. Less and less do you need to force things until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. True mastery can be gained by letting things go their own way. It can't be gained by interfering. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about, like someone without a home. I am like an idiot, my mind is so empty. Other people are bright, I alone am dark. Other people are sharp, I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose, I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean, I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people, I drink from the great Tao of the universe. True perfection seems flawed, yet its usefulness is never exhausted. True fulfillment seems empty, yet its usefulness is infinite. True straightness seems crooked, great skill appears easy, great eloquence sounds awkward. Cold overcomes heat, tranquility conquers agitation. Purity and stillness is the universal ideal. What is rooted is easy to nourish. What is recent is easy to correct. What is brittle is easy to break. What is small is easy to scatter. Prevent trouble before it arises. Put things in order before they exist. The great pine tree grows from a tiny sprout. The journey of 1,000 miles starts from beneath your feet. Rushing into action, you fail. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost right. Therefore, the master takes action by letting things take their course. He remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. He has nothing, thus has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing but the way. Thus, he can care for all things. In the whole world, nothing is softer or weaker than water, and yet even those who succeed when attacking the hard and strong cannot overcome it, because nothing can harm it. The weak overcomes the strong, the soft conquers the hard. No one in the world can deny this, yet no one seems to know how to put it into practice. Therefore the sage says, one who accepts a people's shame is qualified to rule it. One who embraces a condemned people is called the king of the universe. True words seem paradoxical. Failure is an opportunity. If you blame someone else, there is no end to the blame. Therefore the master fulfills his own obligations and corrects his own mistakes. He does what he needs to do and demands nothing of others. Fishes are born in water. Man is born in Tao. If fishes born in water seek the deep shadow of pond and pool, all their needs are satisfied. If man born in Tao sinks into the deep shadow of non-action to forget aggression and concern, he lacks nothing. His life is secure. When enemies are reconciled, some resentment invariably remains. How can this be healed? Therefore the sage makes good on his half of the deal and demands nothing of others. One who is truly good will keep their promise. One who is truly not good will take what they can. Heaven doesn't choose sides. It is always with the good people. Whosoever stands on tippy-toe does not stand firmly. Whosoever stands with legs astride will not advance. Whosoever wants to shine will not be enlightened. Whosoever wants to be someone will not become resplendent. Whosoever glorifies himself does not accomplish works. Whosoever boasts of himself will not be exalted. For Tao, he is like a kitchen refuge and a festering sore, and all the creatures loathe him. Therefore, whosoever has the way does not linger with these. Let people return to simplicity, working with their own hands. Then they will find joy in their food, beauty in their simple clothes, peace in their living, fulfillment in their traditions. True words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not true. Good people do not argue. Argumentative people are not good. The wise are not necessarily well educated. The well educated are not necessarily wise. A sagely person does not hoard things. The more he does for others, the more he finds he has. The more he gives to others, the more he finds he gains. Heaven's way is to nourish, not to harm. The sage's way is to work, yet not compete. When a superior man hears of the way, he immediately begins to embody it. When an average man hears of the way, he half believes it, half doubts it. When a foolish man hears of the way, he laughs out loud. If he didn't laugh out loud, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The direct path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. True clarity seems obscure. The great art seems unsophisticated. The greatest love seems indifferent. The greatest wisdom seems childish. The Tao is nowhere to be found, yet it nourishes and completes all things. Empty your mind of all thoughts, let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the way, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready. All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them. The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. He goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to him. Because he competes with no one can compete with him. Fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you are. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Men are are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prevail. Some say that my teachings is nonsense, others call it lofty but impractical. But to those who have looked inside themselves, this nonsense makes perfect sense, and to those who put it into practice, this loftiness has roots that go deep. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are the greatest treasures. Simple in actions and in thoughts, you return to the source of being. Patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate towards yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world. The way doesn't take sides, gives birth to good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides, he welcomes both saints and sinners. The way is like a bellows, it is empty yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. The ancient sages didn't try to educate the people, but kindly taught them to not know. When they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. If you want to learn how to govern, avoid being clever or rich. The simplest pattern is the cleverest. Content with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. The generals have a saying, rather than make the first move, it is better to wait and see. Rather than advance an inch, it's better to retreat a yard. This is called going forward without advancing, pushing back without using weapons. There is no greater misfortune than underestimating your enemy. Underestimating your enemy means thinking that he is evil. Thus you destroy your 3 treasures and become an enemy yourself. When 2 great forces oppose each other, the victory will go to the one that knows how to yield. The Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downwards and the bottom bent upwards. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is a perfect balance, takes from what is too much and gives to what isn't enough. Those who try to control, who use force to protect their power, go against the direction of the way. They take from those who don't have enough and give to those who have far too much. The master can keep giving because there is no end to his wealth. He acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and doesn't think that he is better than anyone else. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, "Amazing, we did it all by ourselves." Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. Close your mouth, block off your senses, blunt your sharpness, untie your knots, soften your glare, settle your dust. This is the primal identity. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed, honoured or brought into disgrace. It gives itself up continually. That is why it endures. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control, this is the supreme virtue. The Tao is the centre of the universe, the good man's treasure, the bad man's refuge. Honours can be bought with fine words, respect can be won with good deeds, but the way is beyond all value and no one can achieve it. Thus, when a new leader is chosen, don't offer to help him with your wealth or your expertise. Offer instead to teach him about the way. Why did the ancient masters esteem the way? Because being one with the Tao, when you seek you find, and when you make a mistake you are forgiven. That is why everybody loves it. When 30 spokes join together in a wheel, is it not the centre hole that makes the wagon move? When we shape clay in a pot, is it not the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want? When we build a house, is it not the inner space that makes it usable? Therefore we work with all things, but it is the emptiness that we use. If you realise that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. If you aren't afraid of dying, there is nothing you can't achieve. Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place. When you handle the master carpenter's tools, chances are that you'll cut your hand. Not knowing is true knowledge. Assuming to know is a disease. First realize that you are sick, then you can move towards health. The sage is his own physician. He has healed himself of all knowing, thus he is truly whole. The true men of old were not afraid. When they stood alone in their views, no great exploits, no plans. If they failed, no sorrow, no self-congratulation in success. They scaled cliffs, never dizzy, plunged in water, never wet, walked through fire and were not burnt. Thus their knowledge reached all the way to the Tao. The true men of old slept without dreams, woke without worries. Their food was plain, they breathed deep. True men breathe from their heels, others breathe with their gullets half strangled. In dispute they heave up arguments like vomit. Where the fountains of passions lie deep, the heavenly springs are soon dry. The true men of old knew no lust for life, no dread of death. Their entrance was without gladness, their exit yonder, without resistance, easy come, easy go. They did not forget where from, nor ask where to, nor drive grimly forward, fighting their way through life. They took life as it came, gladly, took death as it came, without a care, and went away yonder. They had no mind to fight, Tao. They did not try by their own contriving to help Tao along. These are the ones we call true men. Minds free, thoughts gone, brows clear, faces serene. Were they cool? Only cool as autumn. Were they hot? No hotter than spring. All that came out of them came quite like the four seasons. In the beginning of beginnings was void of void, the nameless, and in the nameless was the one, without body, without form. This one, the being in whom all find power to exist, is the living. From the living comes the formless, the undivided. From the act of this formless comes the existence, each according to its inner principle. This is form. Here body embraces and cherishes spirit. The two work together as one, blending and manifesting their characters, and this is nature. But he who obeys nature returns through form and formless to the living, and in the living joins the unbegun beginning. The joining is sameness, the sameness is the void is infinite. The bird opens its beak and sings its note, and then the beak comes together again in silence. So nature and the living meet together in void, like the closing of the bird's beak after its song. Heaven and earth come together in the unbegun, and all is foolishness, all is unknown, all is like the lights of an idiot, all is without mind. To obey is to close the beak and fall into unbeginning.